My fellow dragon horse, the dragon's warlord, by Taiki Nakasone.
About Stutter. Stutter Herrick III is the battle-hardened king of the dragon horses, a tactical genius who now bears the weight of leading not just his brothers but an entire army of liberated dragons. After losing his tail in the Sea of Ash, he now flies with a prosthetic iron fin. He is a leader forged in fire, ready to challenge any tyrant who seeks to enslave others. The note from Stutter: I woke up in a nest of slaves. My tail is gone, replaced by iron, but my will is unbroken. We are no longer just 4 brothers. We are the leaders of a dragon army. The Alpha falls today. Chapter 1, The Desperate Search. The Obsidian Island was a jagged nightmare of black glass and freezing mist. Rainlout surged into the sky, his black wings straining as he pushed through the heavy, ash-laden clouds. From above, the island looked like a charred ribcage poking out of a boiling sea. Below, Seedlout and Fishrunt tore through the shoreline, their hooves sinking into the dark, volcanic sand. Every cave entrance was a false hope. Every shadow looked like a fallen brother. Stutter! If you can hear me, give us a sign. Seedlout's roar was swallowed by the crashing waves. He slammed his shield into a rock in frustration, sparks flying into the gloom. Fishrunt struggled behind him, his prosthetic iron leg clinking and hissing as it made contact with the wet, salty sand. He has the ring, Seedlout, Fishrunt wheezed, trying to keep his balance. He's the strongest of us. He has to be alive. They searched for hours, moving past twisted, prehistoric trees that seemed to groan in the wind. Rainlout dived down, landing hard beside them. Nothing, he panted, his scales covered in gray soot. The mist is too thick. But I saw something, dragons. Hundreds of them, all flying toward the volcano in the center of the island. They were carrying food, but they looked hunted. They weren't eating, they were delivering. A heavy silence fell over the brothers. If the dragons were there, Stutter was likely in the middle of whatever they were hiding. Chapter 2, The Green Guardian. On the hidden side of the island, Stutter's consciousness returned in painful waves. He was draped over a shelf of soft moss inside a hidden sea cave. His Viking helm lay nearby, dented from the Leviathan's internal pressure. As he struggled to sit up, a low growl vibrated through the cave floor. A figure emerged from the shadows, a female green guardian dragon named Stormfly. She was a fierce, spiked counterpart to the small dragons of the old world, her scales shimmering like emeralds in the dim light. "Easy, stranger," she whispered, her voice a strange melody of clicks and soft tones. "The Sea of Ash doesn't usually spit things out alive. You are a dragon horse, are you not? The legend said your kind vanished when the stars grew cold." Stutter reached for his ring of command, but his strength failed him. Stormfly moved closer, her tail spikes clicking together like daggers. "I am not your enemy. I am a slave, just like the rest of my kin. I found you washed up on the black sand and brought you here before the scouts could see you." Stormfly explained that she was a guardian, once a protector, now a gatherer for the Great Hunger. She lifted Stutter onto her back, her movements graceful despite her exhaustion. She flew him toward the caldera of the volcano, keeping low to avoid the Alpha's mental reach. As they entered the dragon's nest, Stutter saw thousands of dragons living in squalor, huddled in rocky alcoves. They were serving the Sea Dragonus Giganticus Maximus, a mountain-sized beast that sat in a pit of magma, its hypnotic eyes glowing with a terrifying ancient power. The dragons were terrified, moving like ghosts to serve a master that viewed them only as fuel. Chapter 3, The Tyrant's Throne. From a high, jagged ledge, Stutter watched the cycle of the nest. The Sea Dragonus Giganticus Maximus was a horror of biology, a titan with a maw large enough to swallow a ship and a roar that could shatter stone. Every few minutes, a dragon would fly over the pit and drop a haul of fish or meat. If the offering was too small, the Alpha's long, prehensile tongue would lash out, dragging the unfortunate messenger into the depths. "He calls to us in our sleep," Stormfly said, her head bowing in shame. "He is the Alpha. His will is our will. We cannot leave, for the Sea of Ash is his territory, and he sees through all our eyes." Stutter's tactical mind began to map the heat vents and the structural weaknesses of the caldera walls. He saw that the Alpha relied on its sensitive sensory horns to project its mental command. "He's not a king, Stormfly. He's a parasite," Stutter whispered, his eyes narrowing under his helm. "My brothers are on this island. I know it. When they find me, and they will, we are going to turn this nest into a tomb for that monster. We will break the mental chains he has placed on your people. A leader doesn't eat his subjects. He protects them." Stutter began coordinating with Stormfly, teaching her how to resist the Alpha's hum by focusing on the rhythmic pulse of his ring of command. Chapter 4. The Reunion in the Nest. The three brothers infiltrated the nest by following a line of weary gronkles through a secret lava tube. They moved with the silence of shadows, their golden bracelets dimmed to avoid detection. They reached a high balcony overlooking the main pit, just as Stormfly landed with Stutter. The reunion was silent but powerful. Rainlout nearly surged forward, but Stutter raised a hoof, signaling for stealth. "Stutter," Seedlout breathed, his voice thick with relief. "We thought the sea took you." "The sea tried," Stutter replied, stepping into the light of the lava, "but we have a war to win. This is Stormfly. She and her kin are slaves to the beast below. We are going to liberate this island." He quickly laid out the plan. Rainlout would lead the faster dragons in an aerial swarm to confuse the Alpha's vision. Seedlout would coordinate the heavier dragons to create a physical blockade of falling boulders. Fishrunt would use his knowledge of mechanics to help the dragons disable the Alpha's sensory horns. The plan was a masterclass in dragon horse strategy. "We strike at dawn," Stutter commanded. "When the Alpha rises for the morning tribute, we give him steel instead of fish. We act as one, or we don't act at all." The brothers spent the night moving through the alcoves, whispering hope to the dragons, and showing them the marks of the dragon horses. For the first time in centuries, the dragons felt the spark of rebellion. Chapter 5. The Fall and the Sacrifice. The battle erupted with the fury of a volcano. Rainlout dived into the pit, his black wings trailing fire as he led a formation of zipplebacks in a high-speed strafing run. The Sea Dragonus Giganticus Maximus roared, a sound that shook the island to its foundations, trying to regain mental control. Seedlout stood on the edge of the pit, his shield glowing bright red as he diverted the Alpha's attention, allowing the heavier dragons to drop massive stalactites onto the beast's back. Stutter and Stormfly soared toward the Alpha's head, aiming for the glowing sensory horns. "Now!" Stutter roared, the ring of command erupting in a blinding golden flash. The Alpha thrashed in agony as the mental link was severed. However, in its death throes, the beast lunged upward with a speed that defied its size. Its massive jaws snapped shut inches from Stutter, the serrated teeth catching his tail in a crushing, bone-snapping grip. Stutter was ripped from Stormfly's back, falling toward the boiling magma below. "Stutter!" the brothers screamed in unison. Stormfly folded her wings and dived like a falling star, her claws catching Stutter's armor just feet above the lava. She pulled him to safety, but the cost was high. The end of Stutter's tail had been torn away in the Alpha's jaws. The Sea Dragonus Giganticus Maximus let out one final, gurgling cry before sinking into the magma, its reign of terror finally over. Chapter 6. The Iron Fin and the New Alpha. In the aftermath, the volcano grew silent. The dragons emerged from their holes, blinking in the morning sun that finally broke through the ash. Stutter sat on the black sand, his tail bandaged and bleeding. Fishrunt knelt beside him, his iron legs sparking as he worked with the dragonsmiths to forge a new future. Together, they crafted a prosthetic tail fin made of lightweight troll steel and dragon silk, etched with the runes of the dragon horses. When the fin was fitted, Stutter stood up. He flicked his tail, and the iron fin snapped open, a perfect aerodynamic wing. He took to the sky with Stormfly, his new tail allowing him to outmaneuver even the fastest dragons. "The Alpha is dead," Stutter declared to the thousands of dragons circling the island. "You are no longer slaves. You are the ancient guard." The dragons roared, a sound of pure joy that cleared the Sea of Ash for miles. From that day forward, the dragons chose to live with the dragon horses, moving as one massive legendary army across the world. They recognized Stutter not just as a king, but as their new Alpha, a leader of both dragon horses and liberated dragons.